There you go. Is there a full screen on this? Whoa, that's big. That's very big. All right, welcome to the Hour of Power. You guys like the? You guys like it? You guys like it? We were talking in the chat. We were talking in the chat room last night, and I thought Hour of Power. That's pretty cool. GMT. I'm not sure what GMT time is, to be quite frank. Mountain time. GMT. Yeah, like I said, it was fun. So are we recovering here? That's a very good question. All right. Thanks for joining me, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, Bitcoin, I'm on the 15-minute. Let me back out to the 2-hour chart here. Let me do a little bit of Greenwich Mean Time. I think we're I'm -7 or -8. So I'm Phoenix, so we're -7. Whatever that means. I'm not sure if that's plus or minus from where you are, but we're -7 from, UTC, Greenwich Mean Time, whatever the case may be. So ladies and gentlemen, the Real Crypto Power Hour. We're doing a free power hour this week. After next week, we will be doing it for members only. We're looking for really power trading. We're looking for helping you with your portfolio, your account, your strategy, really whatever you guys need to succeed in the markets. So that's kind of what this is geared toward. A lot of my streams are kind of willy-nilly. We kind of go over stuff, answer some questions, but I really want the power hour to be geared towards you guys and what you need to succeed in the markets. In any way I can help with that. That's what this is dedicated for. So if you guys have questions, please ask away. The more specific, the better. Especially like if you say, hey, what do you think of ICX? Say, hey, I'm looking at ICX on the 1-hour chart. I see a cup with handle looking for a trade. Or if you're looking to hodl something, then say, hey, I'm looking at this for this price. Give me some specifics about your actual, what you're overall trying to achieve and specifics in the chart exactly. So let me check some comments here. Okay, so looks like Alexi here has acquired an allergy against the red color. You know what? It does happen. Avenge, what's up, buddy? How you doing? Johnny B, hello. Ash, hello. Got some UK people here at 4 p.m. in the UK. Interesting. What do you think about Ncash? Is it possible to get one Bitcoin with $1,000? Was that a question? Just by trading? Yeah, you can. I mean, if you're good at trading, my friend, you can turn anything into anything. It's water into wine type of stuff. That's why everyone tries to do it. Okay, how does good news like Lightning Network going online affect the markets? Great question, Riza. Not much, to be quite frank with you. Not much. You really have to take news with a grain of salt. When you're dealing with news, you really have to think about, this is a difficult question to answer. Some news does matter more than other news. All I will say is about 1% of news actually matters, maybe less. I haven't done a statistical analysis on that, but there's so much information coming out every single day. The Lightning Network has been talked about for months and months, so it actually rolling out and being live isn't much of a huge story in of itself. Now, if that causes Bitcoin to be used 10 times as much, obviously that will have an effect on the network that probably would be seen in the charts. But just the news article alone doesn't make a whole lot of difference. Right now, Bitcoin going up. Is it going to retest 7,800 before going up a bit, or is it going to 82,000? I'm assuming you mean 8,200. Uh, so I'm kind of viewing this as a bit of a dead cat bounce right now. Let's dive down a little deeper. Let's dive down a little deeper here. Okay, so here's the bear flag we broke down from yesterday. All right, and we've since bounced overnight last night. All right, and as you can see, we had one green volume bar, and then another green, well, I guess there's two there, and then another green volume bar, and then, a huge red volume bar kicked in, and now we're having a couple of smaller green volume bars. So overall, the trend is still lower. Overall, the trend is still lower. Yes, we definitely could bounce, and it's always a little difficult to say what level we're going to bounce to. That's why I generally just kind of work with price action. I don't really try to look at specific levels, especially in a market like this, because first of all, and I guess it worked out here, there's a heavy resistance line here at 8,400. So we have kind of a double bottom situation, and then we breached the level here with impunity, and now we've bounced up into that 8,400 level, and now we're back down at 8,000. So that 8,400 level right now is kind of proving to be the big resistance. The big resistance. I generally don't look to fib levels personally. Some people look at a lot of fibs. I generally try to understand price and volume accumulation and distribution. And not that they don't sometimes coincide, they sometimes do, but I've personally found a lot more validity just with support and resistance. From a hodl standpoint, what are your thoughts on Ncash and Verge? From what I know of Ncash, which is not a lot, I wouldn't hodl anything new, to be quite frank with you. Not anything new. You can make some investments and take some positions in some new technology, but hodling. I actually don't believe in hodling. I don't think that's a thing. I think hodling is a misnomer for uneducated people, to be quite frank with you. Not stupid people, not saying that, just saying uneducated in the fact that, oh my goodness, it completely misrepresented the amount of comments there were. Anyway, I think a lot of hodling comes from uneducation in terms of not understanding how to buy and sell. So I'm going to get off that horse. There's a lot more comments than my little bar here predicted. Do I use fib levels? Not really. I'm going to go over more specific questions, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Power Hour. We're trying to have very deep conversations about specific to your trading and how we can help you guys. Less about general. Can Bitcoin be replaced? No, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say Bitcoin can't be replaced. I'm going to say there's other and better technologies, but Bitcoin being Bitcoin, no, not really. So Gila says, what should I do if I bought my coin a little higher, then suddenly it's a bear market? How can I minimize loss? You can sell. That's how you can minimize the loss. What's a good win ratio percentage, if not intrusive? What's yours? Asks Andrea. That's a very good pointed question. I haven't done the actual analysis on my win ratio, but I will have to say it's not high. My win to loss ratio is not very high, but my stop losses are extremely small and my wins are extremely big. So overall, I'm pretty profitable. So I would say my win ratio is probably like 20 to 30%, but I make it up with short stop losses and proper market reading. Hi from Chandler, Lee Anderson. Hello, brother. Draw Emochu Cuckoo Cloud. Not today, my friend. So I cashed out my 3K XRP with 25% loss and avoided quite a bit further loss. So I'm happy. What do we look for? Reinvest the very bottom on May 25th at the 2-3K like. So, I mean, as you guys know, Bitcoin drives the market. So the very bottom will be put in buy Bitcoin. It's hard to say exactly what particular coin is going to be at what specific level at this specific time. That's very difficult quite frankly impossible. The only thing you can do is kind of go with the markets and deal with it in the moment. So, until we get like real good price action, capitulation moves, it's just a downward trend. Do you think that the bear flag on the 2-hour chart is worth trading? Looks like it's breaking now. Flagpole starts at 9,200. So you're thinking this is a new bear flag. I could get that. I could get behind that. Let's take a look here. So it's a little steep right off the bat. A little steep. But I could definitely see a potential for like a little mini bear flag here for sure. And I would make this your new low. I wouldn't make a low up here. Jeff says, will 401k bring in more money? Absolutely. If they allow Bitcoin or people to buy Bitcoin, that'll bring in a little more money. Can we do any more modification in Bitcoin other than fork and Lightning Network? Of course, it's software. You can do anything with software. The community just has to have a consensus. Do we see another small bear flag starting to form again in the past few hours? Yeah, this is what you're referring to. It could be a little bit of a bear flag. Definitely could be a little bit of a bear flag. Definitely. Even in a bear market, Bitcoin could get a bounce anyway. To identify when that would be and what level it could bounce to, or is it too late for that? Maybe compares to 2013 crash chart. So Johnny, I have a lot of videos comparing this directly to the 2013 crash chart, and there is a possibility that it does continue lower without a meaningful bounce. It can happen. It's happened in the past, but past performance does not indicate future results. And the only thing we can do really is just kind of ascertain price action, look how bullish or bearish it has been or has not been. Yeah, I mean, anything can happen, my friend. Anything can happen. Cool, getting pretty low in the comments here. That's pretty good. Shorting Bitcoin now with a stop at 8,450 and a profit loss target of 6,500. Stop loss at 8,450 for a short. Oh, we're way up here. Yeah, that's a pretty good profit loss, to be quite frank with you. I'm not really mad at that strategy. 8,450. I would maybe give it a little bit more from a stop loss perspective. Reason being because if everyone's looking at this level, so these recent highs were 8,425 and 8,419. So yeah, maybe 8,450 is a pretty good one. Bitcoin right now is having a little bit of a rally on the shorter term time frame. So I would probably short it as soon as this rally starts to break down, and then I would put the trade on. But you really don't want to short willy-nilly. You want to have a very specific point that you're willing to short at. I actually missed mine this morning. I was taking my kids to school. My fiance wasn't able to do it today. And of course, I'm watching Bitcoin take the kids to school here, and then when I get back, it's down here. So that's life, right? But that is a pretty good strategy. That's a perfect question for the Power Hour, and that's actually pretty valid. But I would short it at a more opportune time. If you're able to do that, I would kind of hawk the trade, and I would short on basically a topping candle or a beginning of a sell bar, something like that. So Anacat says comparing 2013 crash with 2018 is BS. I actually addressed that. I don't know if I published that video. But I think the main difference between the 2013 and the 2018 market will be the length of the decline, not the depth. I think it'll be the time of the decline. I think we're on a shorter time frame in 2018 due to the mass adoption, but it still looks like most of the decline will play out. Can RSI be used to time trades, and if it is oversold on all time charts, is that a good time to get back in? Keenan asks. You can use RSI to time trades. I don't technically use oversold as an indicator. I actually do have the RSI up here. What I typically look for timing my trades, if I were to use the RSI, now I kind of used this a little bit to get out of my trade yesterday. I was shorting, I think I went short here because I was asleep during the breakdown, but I went short in here and the market broke down. And if you can see, this RSI generally was rising, the bottoms were rising. And if you notice, there was like a declining RSI right here, kind of forming a little wedge pattern. Coinciding with this, when this thing broke to the upside here, I actually gave it more room, but I shouldn't have. I should have just closed the trade just based off this RSI break, but I didn't because RSI isn't a key indicator for me. But, oops. But the divergence, meaning the decline in price, and the flattening or rising of the RSI indicates that strength is, or selling is decreasing, and then this preceded the move to the upside. So you can use RSIs, but oversold and overbought aren't necessarily the best readings. As you can see here, this peak was higher than this peak, even though this had a much weaker sell-off. So another little divergence there, but you can use RSIs. I think you use them wisely. Don't use oversold or overbought to enter anything. Whoa, we dropped. Okay. Thank you, Paul, very much. Cheers from Australia. Cheers from Arizona, Paul. Cheers from Arizona. So Would You Kindly asks, I'm not experienced enough to feel comfortable shorting. Instead, I'm sitting in cash. Is it worth to try playing bounces longer, just sit and wait until confirmed uptrend? That's the question of the day, my friend. So far, you have the question of the day. To be quite honest with you, sit out until it's a confirmed reversal. Sit out until it's a confirmed uptrend. Learn the markets and do the analysis. That's really the best way to do that. If you're not comfortable, just sit. Waiting will make you a ton of money. Ton of money. So Greg asks, I know you don't have a crystal ball, but as you mentioned, Bitcoin should reach its previous all-time high next year. Do you see that happening slowly and gradually or more dramatically? Slowly and gradually. I think slowly and gradually. These markets tend to form massive cups. Massive cups. And that's my phone. That's my phone. I don't know who that is. Okie dokie. How do you short Bitcoin? I'm shorting it on a platform called BitMEX. There's a link to it in the description below. You have to... Actually, if you're in the U.S., you have to sign up using a Tor browser. You can't actually do it in the U.S., but, there's ways around that, at least registering. And I think I'm going to actually have a webinar coming up on how to short and use BitMEX, so keep a lookout for that in the next week or so. If I bought a coin at a higher price the other day, what should I do to avoid loss? Should I hodl it? Hodling does not avoid losses. Hodling hides pain. That's what hodling does. Hodling hides pain. To avoid losses, you sell. Not sure if this counts as a power hour type of a question. Thank you for acknowledging that, Ride the Track. But I think it's a decent question, so we'll go ahead and answer it here. What would your top 5 or 10 chart patterns that you typically see in Bitcoin? I noticed head and shoulders, cup with handles, bear flags so far. Yeah, you know what? Bitcoin is a repeat machine. It loves cup with handles. It loves head and shoulders. It loves symmetrical triangles, flags. There's actually only 5 or 10 chart patterns that you see really often. And let's zoom out to the 2 hour, see if we can point a few out. Good question. I love chart patterns. Love them. Love them. So I've drawn a bunch of triangles on here. I was doing some analysis in the chat yesterday. Somebody was mentioning this declining wedge in Bitcoin, that it's actually declining wedges are rare in Bitcoin, and I was looking for them on some longer term time frames. So triangles, symmetrical triangles in cryptos are extremely prevalent. They're extremely prevalent. You do have cup with handles like we just noticed. Here's kind of a cup, not really a handle. The head and shoulders pattern all over the place. There's a head and shoulders here. There's a head and shoulders here. There's a inverse head and shoulders here. There's a little head and shoulders here. There's a little head and shoulders here. Inverse head and shoulders here. I mean, they're all over the place. So really the classical chart patterns are the ones, you know. There's some other ones that aren't so common that I don't see very often, like a double bottom, which is a classical pattern you don't see often. In my courses, I was making my double bottoms, having a hard time finding double bottoms in crypto. So, you know, I think it's just generally what you've seen there. I think you've kind of hit most of them on the head. There you go. Weird Wicked World. Can you take a look at DGDBTC? Want to go long? Let's take a look here. All right, where's that question? Come on. It's in here somewhere. DGDBTC. Remember something about going long. Let's take a broad view here. Oh, there you go. Wow, coin's actually moving up. Interesting, very interesting. Bucking the trend. I like that. So going long up here is going to be a risky proposition. If you look back in history on this coin, almost every move to the upside is faded. There's really no move to the upside that isn't faded by a downside move. So here's a pump that continued, okay, but the move was completely retraced. So you definitely have to keep that in mind if you're looking to go long something like this up in this area, especially with tall candles to the upside indicating distribution as you're getting towards these highs. So I would really want to see a really massive breakout on huge volume. I would have a hard time trading this. Anytime you place a stop on a coin like this, it's really likely to get hit. But let's take a look. So as you see here on this particular pump on this coin, we had a pause, and you had a little bit of a pause here. This may have been your time to get in. It looks like it did perform a second measured move, taking this run and adding this run to it. Looks like it did kind of have already have its run. I would probably avoid this trade, and if you were to take it, have a high expectation of being stopped out at some point. Because as you can see, most of these moves just get faded, right? That's the history of this coin. So yeah, that's my opinion on that. I really couldn't find your question, but hopefully I addressed the main concerns there. Where are we on your 200 days moving average? Can you pull it up in the chart? So it's not my 200-day moving average. I didn't invent this. It's a 200-day moving average. And here's where we broke it in crypto. This chart's still up. That's interesting. So let's go to the daily chart. Go to auto, if my mouse will click. And get rid of the news. Oh, I don't have moving averages up here. Why is that? There we go. There we go. Yeah, so, ooh, lots of lines there. Definitely living, like I said in my video, living below the 200-day. There's a difference. So this is kind of like a peak. This was a pretty massive, broad, and quick sell-off. And then we spiked ultimately lower. And this is a different type of a situation. This is what's called living beneath the 200-day, okay? This is living beneath it. I got a lot of lines right there. So there we are. You guys can pull up the 200-day moving average. It's just a moving average based on the 200-day on the close. That's all I got. Was the high or low after 6K a confirmed uptrend? I don't know. You mean, I don't, give me a specific point and a time frame on that one, Paul. When do you see the next parabolic move? When the prices start moving up exponentially. So that's kind of what I see here. Randy, does it still make sense to sell now in hopes to buy back in cheaper? I'm not a day trader. I'm literally all in currently with 15K? Consider from a Bitcoin accumulation perspective, please. Yeah, so my charts right now all read lower. I don't have a huge, the only way that we may head higher from right now, so this falling wedge pattern that some of my members have pointed out, I actually missed this. I didn't see this particular chart. A member pointed this one out, which is rare. Not that they pointed chart, but that I missed something as broad as that. I saw the possible head and shoulders, but I missed the declining wedge. Anyway, this is technically a bullish pattern, the rising wedge. So it can culminate all the way down here. We'll have to see. I'm not going to call anything bullish outside of us breaking out of this wedge here, this trend line with a lot of volume. Okay, trying to get down to some of the more recent questions. I know if I go down, I have this bar here. There's going to be a bunch of questions down below. Yeah, so Khan mentions BitMEX has a simulator. I haven't used the simulator. There we go. I know it just jumps down there. Darn it. Doesn't keep my spot. Okay, here. Shouldn't people avoid leverage trading, especially as beginners? Absolutely, you should avoid leverage trading at all costs. It is an account killer. It'll literally kill your account. If nothing than just the fees. Simply the fees alone in leverage trading will just take you out before you even understand it. So yes, do not leverage trade if you do not know what you're doing. So Don says, you say that I should take my hard wallet with Bitcoin out of the safe. You know, I can't say that, Don. My sell calls are based on so I can't say this every time someone asks me a question because we'd be here for 7 years. If you are comfortable with Bitcoin 4,000, 3,000, 1,000, then by all means, hold everything for a long time. I actually have a hard wallet that doesn't have an extreme amount of money in it. It's only like $500, but I'm not going to sell that wallet. Probably for a very long time. Like it's a cold storage wallet, and it's literally just sitting there, and I haven't touched it. I haven't even thought about touching it. Okay, I occasionally actually my donations go into that wallet. So my donations go in that wallet. Hopefully one day that'll fund my kids' college fund. That's kind of something that I'm viewing that wallet, something like that. So I don't say you have to sell everything, but it's up to your personal risk tolerance, your strategy if you have one. The problem I have is when people don't have a strategy. I've seen it time and time again where people panic sell at extreme low levels. That's really all I want to avoid. Can we look at Litecoin? Of course. Power Hour. The hour of power. Yeah, I'm an idiot. It's cool. Hey, where'd my... Okay, something's not working here on Coinigy. I'm going to refresh Coinigy here. Thank you for your valuable information. What's your opinion on Digix DAO? It's been going higher for the whole day. I think I just did that, and I think I addressed it before or after your question was asked. So that analysis still holds. Litecoin. Get this RSI out of here. Litecoin. Blah. All these markets move with Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen. They all move with Bitcoin. If you have an outlier coin, those are definitely the ones that the Power Hour is meant for analysis. Like that DGD coin that we did a little bit ago. That was a great question. And that's really what the Power Hour is meant for you guys to get some clarification on the charts, what you're seeing. Do your thoughts match with my thoughts? And not that I'm always right, but it's good to have a second opinion when you're thinking about trading. Trading by yourself is extraordinarily difficult. Trading by itself is a lonely aspiration. And, I have my Slack chat room, which actually is free that I'm not super active in, but I do have that. There's some good traders in there that we can trade with and bounce ideas off of. And the Power Hour, really wanting to get really specific with you guys, trying to help you learn to trade better. And it's yeah, it's something I want to do for a while, and it's going to be a lot of fun. What do I think about the G20 meeting in the next few days? No, I don't think too much about it. I'm not involved with it. I'm not speaking this year. So maybe next year if they invite me. But yeah, I don't think it's going to have a big deal in the crypto markets. So Danny says, what do you think about using RSI in multiple time frames combined with some other indicators such as previous price action to try to catch these bounces? Absolutely. I think that's fantastic. If you can develop a strategy that is sound, that you see confluence throughout the markets time and time again, anything is a valid strategy. If you see a cat walking on your wall, every single time that Bitcoin pops, you can base a strategy around that. It's going to fail at some point, but you can base a strategy around that. And that's another thing, is that every strategy will fail at some point. That's another thing. So, the market is what the market is. Current low is a double bottom. Is that a question? Oh, current low, is it a double bottom with the low from March 3rd in XLM BTC? Let's take a look at XLM BTC. Oh, there's DG. There's DGD right there. And it's going up. Right as I tell you to be careful because we're at highs, it's going up. Actually, that may be the same wick. I don't know. Which was that again? That was XLM. And Bitcoin. Wow, that buy volume dried up on Bitcoin in the past 20 minutes. Is it a double bottom from March 3rd? So it's coming down to double bottom territory. Is your real question, should I buy this double bottom? My real answer would be probably not. Now, if you do want to put a position on, have a stop loss. And you do have some natural stops down here. So the 2741 level, pretty much this all-time low. If you maybe like a little bit below that if you want to give it some room. But I think XLM is a great coin. This is not a great chart. If you guys combine a great coin with a great chart, you're going to have a great trade. If you don't combine a great coin with a great chart, you're probably not going to have a great trade. If you have a great chart, you could have a great trade. And Bitcoin breaking down a little bit here. Don't want to add to my short. Which means it's a bad idea to add to my short. That's pretty much what that means. All right. And that's what I mean by it's not good to short because, yeah, just bounced. Selling confirms lost. If you don't need the money within the next year and you can stand the pain of the numbers going down, you can hodl until it's profitable and sell again. That works until it doesn't, General Ivan. That's all I'm going to say about that. That works until it doesn't. Hey, Randy, when you make posts about head and shoulders pattern or inverse, I find it confusing. What time scale do you use to see them? Because can't you see them everywhere, hourly, daily, if you want? I don't know about seeing them everywhere. They basically... So let's go back to Bitcoin and let's look at the... Oh, this is... No, I don't think you can see them everywhere. I think you can kind of make them up. Most head and shoulders patterns have a neckline with a slope like this. Okay, or like this. Somewhere in this, whatever this degree range is, I don't know what that is, but most head and shoulders patterns have a neckline like this and fairly pronounced head, shoulders, and neck. So if you're not getting that, then it may not be a valid head and shoulders. Wall Street trade on crypto somewhat soon? No. Looks like all major coins have a head and shoulders pattern. What do you think? I have seen a lot of confluence lately with a lot of coins in terms of their patterns. I don't know what time frame you're looking at a head and shoulders at. If you guys are going to point that out, please go ahead and post a time frame with these questions so I can give you some great answers. What indicators can confirm us that the declining wedge as Bitcoin is playing out, turning bullish? The indicator you can use is... Whoops. I want to keep that chart up there. I love that chart. The indicator you can use is when price goes above the trend line and when volume is accelerating. Ladies and gentlemen, all indicators derive from price and from volume. In my mind, that means that price and volume can tell you everything. Price and volume can tell you everything, okay? If understood how to use it, like any tool, you have to understand how to use it correctly, right? Whoops, whatever. I hate this mouse. Yeah, there we go. So there's your trend line. And when we go above it on volume, that would be your confirmation. What's the difference between EMA and SMA? EMA stands for exponential moving average. SMA stands for simple moving average. The exponential moving average puts more emphasis on most recent price action. I don't know the exact formula, but I know that they weigh more heavily. So in other words, if I were to do, let's add another moving average. Moving average exponential. Okay, so let me do let's do the 50. Let's do the 50 exponential moving average. This is exponential now, right? So there's your difference. Your exponential, where is it? Oh, it's kind of hard to see. There you go. So as you can see, our 50 is the blue line. Oh, purple line? What am I doing? That's 200. So our 50 is this blue line, which is the simple. Our white is this exponential. If you notice, Bitcoin bounces here, so the white is higher. Bitcoin falls here, so the white is lower. It basically weights more heavily towards most recent price movement. I tend to use the simple. I don't have a crazy rationale why. I know guys that use EMAs. I'm not mad at them. All right, let's go to the bottom here. Strategy question, MJ Energy. Love it, buddy. Love it. Strategy question. With the higher volatility in trading, do you think it makes more sense for novice level traders just to hold? It has been shown to produce more gain. You won't win every trade. Hold through a bear market. Just think about that sentence and that will give you my answer. Okay, in real crypto, ladies and gentlemen, I'm assuming you're here because you like what I do. You like the fact that I'm not going to bullshit you and try to sell you on something that just to get your money. Okay? I hope you understand that my experience, or at least you appreciate my experience, you appreciate what I do, okay? This is my perspective. It is simply a perspective. Keep that in mind. In a bear market, when prices are going down precipitously, you know, everyone says, hold here, hold here. Guys, I've been telling you to sell since 17,000. I've been telling everyone to sell on my YouTube channel, which you can watch for free since 17,000, and been getting some flack for that. When I have a gentleman in my chat room yesterday who's been in my chat room for months and was talking about selling today. And I'm like, why are you in my chat room? We've been talking about this for months, you know, jokingly, but half seriously. And that just kind of goes to a point that holding works until it doesn't. There's a point where everybody will break. There's a point where everybody will sell Bitcoin. There's a price. If you don't know what that price is, in my mind, you're a fool. That's keeping it real. In my mind, if you don't know what that price is, you're a fool. Okay? Now, being foolish isn't bad. Being foolish means you can learn. Being foolish means you can come back. Okay? You can make a better decision. Being foolish doesn't mean you're stupid or an idiot. It just means that, you know, I don't know, whatever. That's how I view it. I view that you have to know at what level you will exit a position. At every single thing. Oh, Node's live now too. There you go. So anyway, that's how I view about holding. You know, holding here and here and here and here and here and here and here. You know, you're still lower. If I pay for the power hour after this week, can we ask general life questions, or does it all have to be related to trading? Davis asks. You know, we'll see what happens. You guys can ask whatever questions you want. The power hour is about helping you guys become better traders. If you want to ask me a question about how to put speakers in your ceiling, which I'm extremely good at, you know, shoot me an email. I'll be happy to shoot the crap with you. But you know, the power hour is about helping you guys become better traders, whatever that takes. Let's see here. Do I see Head and Shoulders forming on 88 BTC? Let's check that out. I'm assuming you're talking about a lower term. Oh, it looks like 88 just broke down. So I don't know what kind of Head and Shoulders, but it's breaking. I don't know what time frame you're referring to, but there's no Head and Shoulders here. It's just, are you talking about this one? This isn't really a Head and Shoulders pattern. This is like an inverse cup with handle, which I didn't think existed until crypto, to be quite frank with you. Never really thought about that before. Why do I use Coinigy over TradingView, though Coinigy might have lower nominal cost? Seems to have less features, especially since TradingView will discount at the end of the free trial. I like the alerts, and the real reason I really started using Coinigy over TradingView is basically the fact that the Coinbase volume is wrong on TradingView, and I use mostly the GDAX, the Coinbase volume. So that's the general reason why. So Greg says, I sold on your advice and do not regret it. I limited my losses, but I've learned a lesson, and patience. Patience is key in the markets. Patience is very key in the markets. Oh, I'm at the bottom. Okay, so I'll address this. I'm Exhausted says, Real Crypto is hodling his $1 million and not selling anything to take advantage of the dip. Not selling anything to take advantage of the dip. Hodling non-traders are the real ones who keep Bitcoin alive. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what that means. You mean that I'm going to buy when it's lower? I don't quite understand that. So Greg says, seems the Europeans are bumping the price up to be rebuffed later by the Americans. Do you see possible pattern here? So the market ebbs and flows. Wherever the whales are in whatever part of the world are doing whatever they're doing, they're going to do that. And there was a price pattern several days ago, you know, during this sell-off here that was very evident. Even in here it was very evident, and it shifted. It shifted very recently. Oh, I'm exhausted. Yes, I will get back into the market. Yes. So, yeah, the market cycle in terms of who was buying and selling shifted over here somewhere. Ahmed, what's up, buddy? How you doing? What price would you what price would I buy the dip? I'm not going to buy this dip, Ahmed, right here. I'm not really interested in buying the dip. You know, we're in a bear market, my friend, and I am making some trades on the short side. I won't be taking any long trades unless I see a very crystal clear signal. Trading these little bounces is of little consequence to me. And, yeah, that's basically it. But Coinigy is using TradingView charts. How is the volume different? They use different data providers. They use different data providers. Go ahead and look at the charts for yourself. Here's 120 on the GDAX. You can look at the daily. It's most prevalent on the daily, but you can go ahead and pull up your chart. I'll leave this up here. Well, this is Bitstamp, but it's not GDAX. Yeah, they are different. So MJ Energy, Real Crypto, this is not a jab or disrespectful, but you're saying holding in a bear market is always losing when it's simply not the case. It seems you're insinuating it will never go back up. So I'm not insinuating that, MJ Energy, not directly. I see how it may feel that way. I think Bitcoin is different from some of the top altcoins are different. I think you are correct. I think it will always go back up. So here's 2013, right? It came down, it came back up. I agree with you, it's going to go back up. I completely agree. As long as you as an individual understand that you're not ever going to sell. But like I said, everyone has a breaking point. If you bought Bitcoin up here at 900, 1,000, and you're down at $100, $150, $200, that breaks a lot of people. It just simply breaks a lot of people. Very few people that are actively watching the markets like you guys are will be holding with a 90% loss. Very few people. Well, it was not 90%. It was 86 from the all-time highs. So very few people hold through like a 60, 70% loss. Very few people. Most underrated indicator, psychology. Market psychology is the most underrated and underused indicator, in my opinion. The overall herd psychology of the market is that's it. That's it. Do you short BTC only or other altcoins too? I'm just shorting Bitcoin. I'm not, Bitcoin leads the market. I don't want to be involved in the tail. I'd rather be involved in the dog. The tail, I don't want the tail wagging the dog because the dog wags the tail. So your name is Real Crypto, but I'm starting to believe it's less about crypto. It's more about trading, which I can still respect. Yeah, it's Real Crypto Trading, maybe. Real Crypto Trading. So I don't believe holding Bitcoin makes you more or less of a Bitcoin bull, to be quite frank with you. I don't believe that. I think holding Bitcoin it's an investment. It's a tradable vehicle, and I treat it as such. The fact I'm involved in the space at all means that I believe in cryptocurrencies. I wouldn't put my money into something that I didn't believe was going to be here in 3 months. So. So, Tajamul, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I put all my savings in Bitcoin and other altcoins when it was 11K. I'm still planning to put 3K in again. Please advise me where I can invest and when. That's a tough one, my friend. That would be a much longer conversation than I can really do on a live stream like today. I'm anticipating in my power hour. I don't know how many people are going to sign up, but how many people do I have in here now? 264 people in here right now. I don't anticipate there's going to be 264 people in the power hour. I'm thinking like 20 or 30. So we're going to be able to get into real in-depth conversations where things like that, we can go over some strategies. That's really what the power hour is for. So it's such a big question. There's a lot of questions I need to ask you to really do that effectively. There's my phone again. So, like I've been saying, it looks to me like we're in a big bear market. I wouldn't be putting money to work right now. I would be waiting. And I'd put that 3K to work later. If you're holding on to that 11K, that's fine if you have a strategy to do that, like I've been talking about. But beyond that, that's a big conversation. About ETH at 975, should I sell for a loss now? If yes, what would be a target to rebuy? So that kind of goes back to that question. Are you comfortable holding through a much deeper decline? It sounds like the answer is no. Sounds like the answer is no. So Ethereum is right now down to a level where we've seen support in the recent past. I don't know if Bitcoin is going to bounce based off of this. Let's look at Litecoin. What's Litecoin doing? So Litecoin has a little bit to go before it gets down to these more recent lows. Ethereum, I don't think Ethereum wags Bitcoin, but Bitcoin definitely wags Ethereum. If Bitcoin does get selling off again, then this definitely could take another dump. Definitely could take another dump. In which case, if you're not okay with that, you need to have a sell point, in which case you want to get out if you're not okay with it going lower. If you are okay with it going lower, perfectly fine. But again, you need to have a strategy around that. Is the power going to be stocks plus crypto or just crypto trading? If there's room in there, I'll definitely do stocks. It's about investing. It's real crypto, but hey, man, I have a real stocks channel too, and I do stocks all day long. So yeah, I don't mind doing stocks. Let's say Bitcoin goes to 26, ETH and Litecoin will be way down as well. What's your gut instinct? How you divide your funds? Good question, Paul. Wow, I haven't thought about that. Like I said, I kind of believe in buying Bitcoin, but Litecoin and Ethereum tend to have some bigger gains at those bottoms. I don't know, maybe 30, 30, 30, something like that. You can spread that around at that point for sure. For sure. In the end, though, as long as you make money, you're good. As long as you make money, you're good. I wouldn't overthink that to the point where you oh gosh, Litecoin's up 40%, Bitcoin's up 30%, Ethereum's up 60%. Hey guys, 30% is not bad. Whoa, it dropped again. Vlad was asking a question. I got to answer Vlad's questions. If you would erase 54 days from 5th of December to January 28th, would the chart be looking bullish? That's a weird question, Vlad. Erase 54 days. January 28th. So take all of this away. No, it'd be a choppy market cycle at that point. So Ahmed asks, what's my lowest prediction? The lowest I have right now is 2,400. That's the lowest I have. And I have a video on that, Ahmed, called Bitcoin, the case for Bitcoin 2,400. You can feel free to watch that to get the actual analysis on that. Ooh, I kind of FOMO'd on Lun. Bought some at 24 Satoshi level since it's dropped badly. Let's go check out Lun. Bitcoin popping up a little bit here. Kind of. I mean, not really, but... Okay, down 50%. That is tough, my friend. That is tough. Should you cut your losses is the question. You're pretty close to the bottom here. If it has a potential of bouncing, yeah, you're 2% from the bottom here. If you want to give it to these bottom levels and then call it quits, that's perfectly fine. Usually a chart pattern like this, I'm not... No. A question you have to ask yourself is, would you buy it here? Would you buy Lun down here? If your answer is yes, give it to the lows and give it a stop. You're 2% to the bottom here. Set a hard stop and then just let it run. MG Energy, I'm holding 90% loss or not because 20K was the beginning real crypto. So true holding still stands as a strategy. I agree with you. True holding stands as a strategy. The problem is when people think they're true holders but don't really know themselves yet. And that's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, is that a lot of people don't know themselves yet. You know, a lot of people don't even ask themselves the question. They don't ask themselves the question, can Bitcoin go to this level? They don't think it can happen. So if you're watching my channel, and it looks like MJ Energy has a very strong holding a principled stance, and I definitely respect that. I'm not trying to talk you out of your holding, MJ Energy. I'm really not. What I'm trying to do is educate the other people listening, there's almost 300 of them, to question themselves to give an answer to their strategy. So Al says, what's going on with the S&P 500? It's totally flat. I'm wondering if we're in for a major bear market there, and if if we are, does that impact Bitcoin to the downside? I don't know if that impacts Bitcoin. There has been a little bit of correlation between the markets, but generally, I don't think there's a major correlation. So let's look at what's the SPY? That's what that is. So here's the thing. The SPY right now, the S&P 500. Hold on, Bitcoin's kind of rallying against my short a little bit. Let me see what I want to do here. So I'm still holding. Okay, so we have kind of a little double top scenario happening here in the SPY, and this is a rising wedge. And I've noticed this for a few days now. You can call it wherever you want to call it, but there's a rising wedge that's been forming here. Yeah, I guess you can do something like that. If this rising wedge breaks, hopefully before it breaks, I'm in cash. I mean, I was thinking about moving to cash, to be quite honest with you. Just because I really enjoy my gains that I have in the market right now, and I don't want to give them up. I just don't want to give them up. I'm trading a Roth IRA, and within a Roth IRA, I'm really trying to protect my capital, and I have extremely risky positions. A couple of days ago, my Roth was down like 12%, and I've since gained most of that back. So I'm really trying to protect that capital. Whether that affects the Bitcoin markets or not, that's a different story. I don't think there's a huge correlation because, I mean, as you can see, the cryptocurrency markets, or Bitcoin, has been in a big downtrend since December while stocks were making all-time highs. So I don't think there's a huge correlation there. So what do you think about going long altcoins when you have sideways corrections like NEO, XLM, XRP, when Bitcoin starts going sideways, whenever that is? Yeah, I think you're perfectly fine buying altcoins when Bitcoin's is stable. That's pretty much the general theory, right? Is that the altcoins run when it's stable. So how do you exit a short when it breaks a bear channel trend line on the 15-minute chart, or limit order buys at major support levels? I tend to trade on reversals. What that means is that I will exit at the end of a trend line, to answer your question specifically. I typically will do it at the break of a trend line. I have a hard time predicting price levels. Not that I have a hard time, because actually this hit my head and shoulders price level almost exactly, but I have a hard time believing that the move is over. In other words, I don't want to guess. So I kind of use trend lines as a way to guide my trading. Tyler says, I understand everything is dropping and crypto is volatile, but might it be safer to buy into alts right now since they trade against Bitcoin? No. 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 The Power Hour is $50 per month, and I believe you should be able to sign up on the website right now, actually. I haven't tested it yet, so wait till tomorrow if you want to sign up. Let me test it first, but I'm trying to get the web page set up. If you dollar cost average into BTC, do you recommend taking all the amounts where you would either break even or take profits and sell them? The other trades with a higher loss would be hodled. having a hard time grasping that strategy, Ian. So let's say you have 5 entries into Bitcoin. 2 of them are really high. 3 of them are really low. You're going to sell those 3 entries and hold those 2. Forget about your entries, Ian. Forget about all of that. You have a lump sum in Bitcoin, okay? The reality of the situation is, say you have $10,000 in Bitcoin. You've got 10 grand in Bitcoin. If you want to limit your losses, sell whatever percentage you don't want to risk, regardless of the entry. It's about portfolio management, not about your entry. It's about saving the money you have. How can you think you do not lose when you hodl? When you buy at 10K, it drops to 5K, then goes back up to 10K. You still missed out 50% or even 100% profit if you would have shorted all the time. How can you think you do not lose when you hodl? So you heard, I don't know what you heard, but I've been talking about I don't believe in hodling. Personally, I'm not a hodler personally. I believe that if you are a hodler, like our friend MJ Energy is, he holds, and that's great. As long as you hold, you're fine. But if you think you're a holder but don't really understand how you work in markets yet, and you sell at a very low point, you're not a hodler, and you should have sold much higher. So if you're skittish at all, you really need to revisit your strategy. Correlations between crypto and the NASDAQ. I haven't viewed it specifically, but I haven't. I trade them completely differently. I trade them completely differently. Jacob, is your Power Hour a paid service? Yes, Jacob, it is a paid service. It's going to be $50 a month. We're going to do an hour every day. So it's like $1.50 a day or something like that. It's really trying to be focused on helping you guys become better traders. I don't want you guys to be more like me. I want you guys to be more like you. And my videos, while they provide valuable information, at least I think it's valuable, they don't necessarily help you with you. And the Power Hour is meant to be actionable trades, coaching, in the current marketplace, things of that nature. So, yeah, that's it. And, I say every day, I pretty much mean every day. I'm assuming there's going to be a couple of days where I'm going to want to take a trip with the family, and I may not be able to do it then or something like that. But you guys will know in advance if that happens. But, there's nothing coming up in the future here. I think you would make a lot more money if you waited only for the bigger trades and put more capital on them and did less of the little trades during the day. BitCaniacs, I agree with you. I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. And you're right, my TA is always dead on. I can't say that because I kind of sound like an asshole. But to be quite frank with you, it's pretty damn good. I mean, there's 2 parts to trading, ladies and gentlemen. And now I'm just rapping because I thank you for saying that. I really do. I really thank you for saying that. There's 2 parts to trading. There's the analysis, and then there's the trading, okay? And I talk about this a lot in my courses. If you look at my course curriculum, if you look at my course, I'm not doing this to show my courses, but just to kind of prove my point. So let's look at the charting. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 things on charting, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 topics that are not charting, okay? Charting is only part of it. The rest of it is all the action part, right? The actual putting money at work. It's it's the psychology part. So it's while my calls may be dead on, and I think they are generally as well, sometimes I'm a smart guy, and sometimes smart guys overthink themselves in trading, and I'm guilty of that. I am sometimes guilty of overthinking charts personally. So anyway, there you go. So thank you for pointing that out. I appreciate that. That's all about that. Do I use fractals? I don't even know what fractals are. People say fractals. Paul, if you would, I've only heard fractals since crypto. I haven't heard them. Is that like a Forex thing or something? I don't know anything about fractals, to be quite frank with you. I'm a little astonished I don't, because I usually have heard of things once before. JS says, when does it become paid? Monday. Monday we're gonna start. We're gonna start with the paid Real Crypto Power Hour. Do I have an oversold strategy? No, I do not. Is Bitcoin death? No. Do you mean dead? I mean, I think it's dead. I'm not trading to the long side. I mean, if this declining wedge breaks right here, if this declining wedge breaks, where is it? I don't have it drawn anywhere. If this declining wedge breaks, I may take a long position. If we get, but outside of that, I really don't. Oh, there's the trend line. I don't see a lot of points right now where I would be long Bitcoin. I mean, the technicals just aren't there for it. What time is the power hour in Ireland? My mother-in-law lives in Ireland, so I think it's 8 hours ahead. So it would be like, was it 2 or 3 or something like that in Ireland PM? The power hour will be recorded, so you guys can participate in it later. To be honest with you guys, if there's enough interest in the power hour, like if 150 of you sign up for the power hour, I will probably, and some of you are in different time zones, I will probably do 2 separate power hours just to keep the size down. I don't want 400 people in the room. While I would enjoy that from a monetary standpoint, I don't think it's good. Just keeping up with that amount of questions. And if the questions are going good, I may not cut it at an hour, guys. I don't mind doing an hour and a half, 2 hours. I don't care. I really don't care. I just call it the power hour just basically because it's, I'm trying to keep it pointed, okay? I'm trying to keep it pointed, and that's basically that. I can't stream all day long. This is supposed to be a live interaction between, you guys and myself. So Josh says, is 2.5 your call, or is it one of many possibilities? Josh, I don't do many calls. I will do calls off of a specific chart pattern, okay? I will do that all day long on a head and shoulders pattern, on a measured move, on a cup with handle pattern. But notice I say on a pattern. Trying to call an entire market bottom is... I would be trying to sound smart. I'm like, you know what? I really want Josh to think I'm smart. 2.4 is the bottom. And you have no way of disproving that. I could be super confident in that call and you'd be like, wow, 2.4 thousand is the bottom. I'm going to hold for that. But it's BS, man. It's BS, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. 2.4 is a possibility. I've been mentioning a range between 3.6 and 2.4. Those are based on 2 separate analyses that I've done in 2 separate points in time, which is why I'm calling that range. I think it's wide enough to be give people an idea of where it can go down to, but there's no call here, my friend. There's no call. It's not like it's going here or take me to the bank. I'm not a used car salesman. So, Christina, I told you about ONT last night and it mooned. Can you please look at it on 15 minutes? Looks like it's making a bigger cup and handle. Was that ONT? Let me look at it. Yeah, I think that was a cup and handle, wasn't it, Christina? Yeah, right here. And it did. Oh, I think we were talking about it right here, right? Oh, right here, right? We were talking about it right here. And I think I told you, I think I mentioned that, I think it was right here. It was right here, wasn't it? Yep, it was right here when we talked about it. And what I said was it could go down to form a handle, and you want to buy either at a point of a natural stop, which I gave you drawing a trend line of some fashion or something like that. So yeah, I'm glad it went up. Was I specific enough, Christina? Did I help you at all with that? Because yeah, this coin actually moved pretty decently. Did have a couple of shakeout attempts here. That would have been, fairly hard to kind of hold through if you bought in early. You have a nice trend line here. So here's your cup, here's your handle. The handle didn't, and I mentioned the handle was a little low, so it actually formed here. The handle actually formed here, okay? And yeah, good job. Good job if you went ahead and participated in that. Will the paid hours be able to watch after they're aired or just live? No, it'll be afterwards. I'm going to record them all. Ooh, Bitcoin's making a run here. Bitcoin making a little bit of a run here. Let's go check it out. All right, so we have declining volume after this drop here. Declining volume. Looks like it's running a little bit. 5 minutes left in a 15-minute chart. Overall, still looks like it's bearish, even though it's moving up. We could have a big sell coming in here at any time. Oh, looks like we moved higher here. Wow. Moving higher. Are we going, or are you going to sell off? All right, it's to this prior basing level now. It's coming up here to this prior base. Looks like it just jumped up a little bit. Volume isn't quite good enough for this to be maintained. Doesn't mean it can't kick in, but volume isn't quite good enough to be maintained. Looking at this 15-minute chart, at least on the GDAX here. On my other screen, I've got the BitMEX, which it just got sold into a little bit. Oh, there's some selling. Bit of a fight happening here, ladies and gentlemen. Bit of a fight. Robert says, too much FUD. This dude doesn't know what he's talking about. Bitcoin will stay strong. I respect your opinion, Robert. Don't agree with it, but I respect it. Okay, being bought up again. Active trading at its finest. Well, active action at its finest. Come on. Do I have water? I do have water. Let's see. So Theo, dude, why are you ignoring me? Was I ignoring you, Theo? I didn't ignore you, Theo. There's a lot of comments, my friend. A lot of comments. Do you see a double bottom pattern followed by a bull run in May? A double bottom from 6K? Can you be a little more specific? And Oleg says, markets always reverse when no one expects. That's how manipulation works. No, that's just how markets work. That's just how markets work. It's not manipulation. It's trading. All of trading is manipulation. It's all manipulation. It's, you know, the big money trying to fool other big money into giving them their money. That's what trading is. That's literally what trading is. Double bottom at 6K. You know what? It's not that I don't necessarily see it. Let's go in here. I mean, it could happen. It could happen. That is a possibility. Really, the only thing that's going to make that happen is another big bottom. If we have another big bottom candle down there at 6K, like a boom, like another nice big bottom at 6K, it could be a double bottom. But if it just languishes, if it kind of moves down there and slowly comes down, then forms a base and then does nothing, it's not a double bottom. An effective double bottom would be another V bottom on very high volume. Correct, Tobias. Correct. Money management towards the dollar works great if the dollar holds. How does the concern about a dollar crash figure into that? If you're concerned about the dollar crashing, we've got a lot bigger concerns than trading. Ride the track. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. You know what? I actually really appreciate you being in the chat. You ask good questions. You challenge me. And I enjoy that. I enjoy being challenged because guess what? I'm a human being. I'm not perfect. I'm far from perfect. I'm bald. So, you know. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we got an hour and 15 minutes. That's fine. Having some good chats here. I guess we can go for a little bit longer. If you guys have any questions, happy to answer them. Other than that, I'm going to go back and work on the website here in a little bit and my courses. Did I miss anything? Alibaba looks like you made 400 bucks yesterday for a few minutes work. Good job. That's awesome. And so far, on the 15-minute on Bitcoin here, we seem to be okay with these levels, but we'll see where the next move takes us. We have a nice, well, on the BitMEX, we have a nice big red candle for the last, at least on the 5-minute chart. But we're still poking towards highs there. Still poking higher. IOTA and ZPT. How can one make $100 a trade doing simple trades? There's lots of strategies out there for doing that. There's a lot of strategies out there for making $100 a day. I mean, basically, if you're caught in a choppy market or a situation where the market's moving around, just buy somewhere and then have a hard stop in at $100 profit. So let's look at these before I get to those questions. IOTA and ZPT. Ooh, IOTA. Ugh. Hold on, let me puke in this bucket. Ugh. Garbage. Just garbage. Wow. Wow, IOTA. Oh, that's Ethereum. So I guess, you know, I watched a video last night about, this guy talked about IOTA and its problems. I didn't know they were that bad. I don't keep so much up on the tech side of things with a lot of these coins. I kind of learn generally about them and kind of go on my way, but some of their problems are pretty bad. Like they don't have a real wallet and they have like reverse transactions. So maybe people are kind of lining up and realizing that IOTA is maybe not good after all, maybe me included. So I would avoid that at all costs. And ZPT. KuCoin. Let's go to the 2-hour chart. So Hex Thrower has a hard time with technical analysis. I understand, my friend. I understand. There is a learning curve to it. It's more than what you think. Everyone thinks it's more than what you think. It's not just simply reading a chart. There's other things that come into the picture. And I can't say I disagree with you. I can't really say I completely disagree with you in terms of monkey throwing at a chart, but technical analysis is very, very valid. So I do disagree that it's like monkeys, but anyway, I agree with your sentiment. That's your experience. I can't argue with that. You know, there's a lot of things that don't go as planned in technical analysis, but all you have to do is cut your losses short. You have to cut losses short. you don't cut losses short, then you have no account to trade with. So, but yeah, I'm not super happy with this coin either here on the ZPT. Looks like it did bounce a little bit here. That's not bad. I'm not sure if it's good for a trade. Very thin, meaning that not a lot of coins are traded. I would avoid a thin chart at all costs, to be quite frank with you. You just run the risk of something like, look, this is a brutal dump right here. I don't know what percentage this is. 15%. That's still pretty big. Man, Bitcoin's looking like it wants to rally. I mean, the volume doesn't necessarily... It's getting better. The volume's getting better. So going back to, someone mentioned, could this be in a bear flag? It could be in a bear flag, and a bear flag would indicate that we could move to the top of said bear flag. So we move up here to, you know, maybe up here towards the 8,500 level. I know that my True in my chat was looking for a bounce to 86. He was looking for a bounce to 86 off of 7,800. Yeah, he could be correct. This could keep going possibly. Fitness Health, thank you very much for that. What do I think about Omisego? I like them as a business and a coin. I haven't looked at the chart lately. Let's go to my altcoins. Not digging that. Not digging that in terms of charts. Even though it's a good coin, I will not buy a good coin with a bearish pattern. You buy good coins with bullish patterns. I think someone asked, will we live trade during the power hour? If something comes up and I see a signal that's ready to go, and if you guys point one out, for sure we can go ahead and take a position, talk about the strategy, the stop loss strategy, things of that nature. Yeah, for sure. Johnny, yes, you did mention that about IOTA. I didn't know a lot of specifics, and I just happened to come across a video where the guy was talking about IOTA, and I remembered you mentioned that, and so I watched the video, and I'm like, oh yeah, this guy had a bad experience. Just generally talked about all of it, and yeah, for sure. Can you look at STK? STK, we have a microcoin hunter. My throat bucket's getting pretty full, K-Pove. What do you see in these? What time frame are you looking at that gets you interested? Are you looking at the technology? I mean, just by looking at this chart, you can tell this is super thin. Super, super thin. I would definitely not be interested in many of these coins. If you're going to trade anything of this thin nature, what I mean by thin is that very few trades happen on any time frame. I would trade with a very small portion of your account, less than 5%, and just consider it a loss. What happens if Bitcoin breaks that bull flag to the upside? If Bitcoin breaks the bull flag to the upside, you'll have a different video out of me, maybe a different perspective, but keep in mind also, let's go to the 2 hour. Keep in mind also that a breakout to the upside doesn't confirm an uptrend. There's still levels of resistance. I mentioned in one video before this broke down, I think we were like up here. I think I mentioned that we had, 10,000 levels of resistance to go before we hit all-time highs, okay? And the same remains here. We have, 3,000 levels of resistance before we get back to this double top here. Still a lot of bearish sentiment in the market. If the script flips, I'll be talking about it. If it, up until then, I can't. Oh, wow. I was heavier than I thought. Wow. Way heavier in this trade. Was that the bottom on BTC, or is the downtrend still valid? No, the downtrend's still valid. Nothing's been broken. We don't even have a high. I mean, here's a high of at 8,400. We're still not even over that high. So we're not we're not confirmed in an uptrend by any stretch of the imagination here. What indicators do you use? I know everyone has their own, but what works best for you? So I use moving averages, and like I said, I'll occasionally pull an RSI just to see what the general trend is, or if it's confirming with the RSI, or if it's diverging with the RSI. I don't use it for oversold, overbought indicators. I use it for divergence between price and the relative strength. Tajamul, no, I wasn't ignoring you on purpose, I guess. I read it in the back of my mind. I don't know about Polymath. Isn't that like a trading platform or something? I don't know much about it to really give an opinion, to be honest with you. I just really don't know much. Does your strategy basically resign the fact you will never catch the absolute bottom? Yes. No one will ever catch the absolute bottom. You can catch a bottom area, but the only person that catches the absolute bottom is the person that buys that bottom. And I doubt you or I have enough money to buy that bottom. Okay, creating a bottom takes hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars. Lots and lots of money. What do I think about Steam? As a coin, I'm not sure. And Bitcoin has a little bull flag here on the 5-minute. Looks like I may want to break out of it. I haven't looked at it from a coin, but from a platform, it's pretty interesting. I have an account there. I don't really post on it. I should post more, but I don't. How does shorting work? Shorting works where you borrow a coin from someone, you sell it at the current market price, and then you buy it back later, and hopefully you have a profit. That's pretty much how it works. Can I look at Tron? Sure. So every time I look at Tron, it doesn't look good. It looks worse and worse. Let's see if this time is any different. Why am I only getting these short-term time frames on Coinigy? First year in investment, and the way I see myself is I made mistakes buying Bitcoin. I invest all my savings up to 11K. Does RDD have a future? I don't know about that. How is shorting any different than buying into Tether during a downtrend? Is there any real difference? The only real difference is if you have like leverage. If you're trading on leverage, then you can actually increase your Bitcoin position if you're shorting on leverage. But not really. I mean, yeah, you could just go to Tether, and if it drops, you have a 1-for-1 ratio in terms of in terms of things. So yeah, I don't think it's Change your data source. Yeah, good point. Oh, it's on. There we go. There we go. Yeah, so this kind of had this big. I talked about this a couple of days ago. This reminds me a lot of EOS late last year. Okay, a lot like EOS, and this thing just proceeded to go much lower. So I'm not liking the Tron chart here at all. HPB. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here after this one. On the day, let's go to the 2-hour chart. Well, looking a little better than that. It's not poking at lows. It's kind of bounced up here, formed a little bit of a bull flag pattern. That's not too bad at a bull flag. Whoops. Come on. I do not get involved in ICOs. They're garbage. So, nice little bull flag here. Volume declining. That's actually good. This is fairly bullish, actually. This is fairly bullish. Looks like this might be a decent actual entry point. Stop loss there about 3.5%, 4%. That's not a bad risk-reward trade if you want to take that. Not my favorite pattern. Not my favorite pattern. It doesn't have to work out, but you definitely could potentially take a trade on that. That's somewhat half-ass tradable. You're welcome, Nicholas. That's what it's all about, my friend. All right, guys, thanks for joining me on the Hour of Power. All right, guys, there you go. Thanks for joining me. See you guys tomorrow. Have a good day.